What's going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rays, and we're back with another legendary guide in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands to be able to bring to you. And today, I fancied going something a little bit different. It's one that I've just recently had dropped, and it just reminded me so much of the amount of fun that I had back in Borderlands 3. And this is the Blue Cake. Now, the Slapping Blue Cake of Jealousy is the version that I have got in front of me right now, and it does come with the red text of "I'm more of a brownie person," actually. What this is very similar. It pretty much works in the exact same way as the yellow cake from Borderlands 3, and obviously that was probably one of the most notorious guns in the whole of the game, just basically for how strong it actually was, and it was just able to pretty much deal with anything that it could actually come your way. So the Blue Cake is kind of very similar in that kind of aspect. The main thing for this is the fact that it comes in lightning, so it's going to be effective against wards, and the version I've got is a ×2. I do believe that you can get a single one of this as well, but this means that it consumes 4 ammo per shot, and looking at the damage, it's quite high at 1,955 ×2. The accuracy is 48%, the handling is bang on 100%, which is awesome. The repair time is a whole 6 seconds, the fire rate is 0.87 shots per second, and the shots to break is 5. So overall, this is a lot of good. I've managed to get a bladed version, so I can actually use this in melee builds, just to be able, in case I want to actually have like a heavy weapon version, so I have something to be able to go on. And granted, my enchantment does actually play into that because it increases my melee damage by 40%. So this is currently how it's rolled. I haven't tried to try and change that or anything like that. So what is it the Blue Cake can do? Well, the Blue Cake is kind of a strange one. So obviously you're able to move around as normal. You're able to aim down sight, which is quite a funky looking kind of reticle as well. But you're never going to use this. You're pretty much always going to be using this as hip fire. So the main hip fire for this is obviously when you fire a shot. We go to photo mode. Very, very slowly. So it fires off 2 orbs, as you can see. So you've got your one here and you've got your one there. From there, it then splits out. It's just going to do it again, isn't it? So as you can see, after so much distance, it then splits out. It separates one into 2, basically. But because I've got a 2 times on mine, therefore the 2 splits into 4. And then you'll also see it's done it again. And I'm probably not going to be able to get close enough to be able to see this. Actually, you can kind of make it out. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it will eventually split into 8 projectiles, and they will eventually fall off doing damage. Now, the other thing to be able to notice is obviously how close you have to be able to get this to be effective. So the first few projectiles fly straight, then it splits and then goes straight, and then after it does the second split to be able to go into 8 projectiles for me, it then instantly falls to the ground. Or get kind of like a really sharp kind of like drop off anyway. So you kind of want to arc it a little bit, depending on obviously how far away you want to be able to shoot. So the main thing is to be able to grab it, make sure that it hits. So you want to kind of get it to maximize the amount of damage. You kind of want to be able to use it in a way that when it does that last split, all the projectiles are basically going to be able to hit an enemy. So as you can see, Dragon Lord is a bit too close because all I'm doing is just two projectiles right there. At there, I'm getting 4, and obviously if I get even further away, there we go. So I'm able to do that. So let me just grab some more ammo. So it's about... So that's gone over his head. So we want that there. There we go. So we're starting to do that. The main place you want to be able to aim for is pretty much around here. The reason why is because obviously you do that, the splash damage will then affect kind of everyone that's around you. And this is definitely something that obviously you need to get used to be able to actually do quite effective. See, I'm happy with the 4 projectiles hitting there, which is actually quite nice damage. Now, unfortunately, in the main kind of endgame that we currently have in Tiny Tina's, the Blue Cake isn't really necessarily there to be able to carry you through the whole expedition. The only reason why is because even with ammo regen, which we currently can get from the Spore Warden, it's not enough to be able to actually consider it, and also on top of that, from what I can tell, you don't actually regenerate any heavy ammo, regardless of which gun you are actually currently equipped. So it's like it's telling you that you can't use this gun throughout a whole kind of chaos dungeon or anything like that. Maybe it was their way of trying to control it as to how strong it was going to be, because of obviously how good the yellow cake was back in Borderlands 3, and that pretty much took over the meta when it first got introduced. So I wouldn't necessarily stick with this as like a main gun. I do think it's a very good kind of like backup gun. I do think it's very good to be able to like help you clear up or mop up some mobs or some enemies, and it's definitely probably a really good one to be able to get yourself out of kind of like save your life kind of side of things. If you ever go down, you are able to get a kill with this to be able to get yourself back up on your feet. So I would recommend this gun. I would recommend that you go and try and grab one. The best way that I managed to get for this one was actually through the bunny rabbits at the end of Chaos Dungeons. And I rolled in and I managed to get one of these blue cakes. So definitely would recommend picking one of these up. Make sure that you change the anointments though to make sure it actually matches with your class. Like I said, if you aren't going for melee, then there's no point having a melee one. And the gameplay that you're going to be seeing in the background is definitely not an anoint. That is actually perfect for this build. So therefore, it can only get better from there as soon as you start using things like on action skill or on spellcast, etc, etc. So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've learned something useful with ourselves. And I hope that you do actually go and find yourself a nice blue cake out there. If you did, make sure you drop a like and a subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and we will definitely be bringing more legendary guides in the future. Thank you so much for watching all this way. Thank you to the Babylonian family for their continued support, and as always, keep yourselves safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on our next video.